Wow. All right, everybody. It is Monday, President's Day weekend. And yes, I am here, came into the dungeon to come rant and rave solo mia while my partner in crime, David Solomon, is out hanging around somewhere in the United States. Yep, holiday weekend. Got to enjoy it. I want to say thank you to everybody who's been pinging us on Rumble. Rumble has been a great new partner, a little less nonsensical filtration as YouTube and Google and Facebook have continually been doing to us. But nevertheless, we love you anyways. The story today is, not for me, but for thee. And, when the Dems say it's not a news story, you should believe them. I believe you should be very scared. Because when someone denies a story as being newsworthy, chances are it is a full-fledged volcano. And they want to try and convince you otherwise. Let me bring in my noted partner over here. And I'm going to start playing.
They're going to hand out N95 masks. You have to either be vaccinated or if you're 5 and above, you have to show that you took a negative PCR test within 48 hours before the game, and you have to have a negative antigen test within 24 hours.
And I think that Gavin Newsom gives you a open book quiz about what COVID-19 means to you. But by the way, the same rules apply for the championship game. So let's see if that applies to the people in power. Let's see.
Watch, guys.
Anybody would show up without a mask
Watch this.
at SoFi Stadium in Crackdown, California, right?
Yep.
Except for
Magic Johnson.
Magic Johnson. And I believe who was that next to him?
That's Gavin Newsom, the governor, right?
So, guys, I wanted to bring that little clip to you. Not that I'm a diehard Fox fan, because really, I listen to Bloomberg pretty much all day, every day, right? But I wanted to point this out to you, right? Not for me, but for thee, this is a non-story. There are 77,000 people in an indoor arena. And I got to tell you, there is nobody wearing a mask from room to room to room. And it's not a single isolated picture. This is a constant theme in California. Because I don't know if you saw the football game. It seems like that was Stuart. That was a couple of days ago. Don't worry about it. But let me ask you a question. I am a triple vaccinated person. I own more of these than any one of you guys. I even have people sending me these, here, Stuart, I want to make sure you're safe. And I'm sending them and giving them out to all kinds of people. The reality is we need to get, unfortunately, used to living a life with this thing called COVID. Now, COVID is a respiratory virus. Yep. Have you heard of one? Now, I'm sure there's many medical doctors that are going to chime in that COVID is special, and it is. Every respiratory virus is special because they have all been on this planet for a very long time, or they've created them from things that have been on this planet for a very long time. And the gain of function is what I guess the world is getting mad at. Are you going for the fourth? I don't know if I understand what you're asking, Risa. But the whole concept is this is a news story. What's going on in the Ukraine is a news story. Ammonia nitrate being blocked for export out of Russia is a news story. And if you don't recall, the ammonia nitrate story hasn't yet broken in the papers. If you don't know what ammonia nitrate is the basis for all the fertilizer that gives us our vegetables. But it wasn't just a U.S. ban. It was a global ban. You're talking about the fourth injection. No, Risa, I am waiting for the antivirals. like that existed for SARS 1 and 2 called Tamiflu. I'm sure there will be newer ones that come out. Again, I'm not a doctor. I'm not giving medical advice. I strongly encourage all of you to seek your medical advice. But personally, at this point, no, I am not thinking about a fourth shot of Pfizer, but I've had no reaction, no negative reaction, as I am aware of any of the vaccinations, though I'm told that there are some. But I believe that is the anomaly, just like Risa, people taking birth control. Women drop dead of strokes because of taking it, yet women still take it today. But again, I'm not an anti-vaxxer. I believe that there is use of everything, and your medical professional should be the one guiding you, not a president of the United States, not a vice president of the United States, but a medical doctor. But I would skip flip-flop Fauci, right? Ranting solo is so vigorous. So what I want to ask anyone in the audience to message me, are you aware of what is not a news media event? Have you heard your head of state? Have you heard your movie star that says, down with this, down with that, but oh, I got caught doing it. It's no big deal. Or I'm sorry. You know, the AOCs of the world, it's not a news story that she traveled first class back from Texas, where she was trying to propose all these crazy things, like let's unionize the entire state of Texas. Did anyone ever tell AOC that communist Russia was what Ronald Reagan defeated, and that you are embracing, that Fidel Castro wanted socialism, and that you're embracing his ideology? But you know, this is the United States. You have the right of free speech. However, you don't have the right to silence free speech. And that is the issue where the Dems say it's not a news story when Facebook or YouTube or Google or Rumble or any of these verticals decide to say, yeah, that's not real news. Now, again, I can't use the word fake news because that would then infer the Trump. And I loved playing euchre when I was in college. Maybe I played too much euchre, and I always loved having the Trump card. But the media looks at Trump as like, how can we bring him back in the press? And the irony is, it's not a news story that the latest evidence that shows that Hillary Clinton's campaign actually did collaborate with the Russians and spy on a sitting president, which makes Watergate look like the pond, right? With some crazy actress who's bananas, right? Do we remember on Golden Pond? Come on, we have to remember it. But you gotta believe me that if there is a news story and the Dems say it's not a news story, or the Republicans say it's a news story. It's something that you independently should find a source and understand. You know, it's so important. You know, it goes along with free speech and the rights and liberties that you have. So the controversy in Ottawa, the Canadians say it's a bad case. The Americans say it's a great case. Canada and the United States, though, are two Western countries, both don't have the same rule of law, who don't have the same rights. In the United States, you have the right to freedom of assembly. You have the right of free speech. It seems that Prime Minister Justin Trudeau doesn't believe you have the same rights. In fact, let me sort of transcend and bring up some things about Mr. Justin Trudeau. This is not a news story, according to Justin Trudeau. He blew the Asian Pacific deal. No, it's not. You know, he blew the helicopter deal with the Philippines. No, it's not a news story. He blew the pipeline deal with the United States, all because of him. He blew the deal with China. He blew the deal with Europe. He invited irregular immigration into Canada at the bill of the taxpayers. He alienated the United States, the largest trading partner, which, by the way, every Canadian city is within 500 miles of the U.S. He pledged, right, G7, $400 million to education around the world and $180 million to partnerships in Europe. None of this is going to fix the messed up school system in Canada. He pledged $241 million of family planning outside of Canada, right? He pledged $2.6 billion for climate change outside of Canada. He pledged $300 million to the Rohingya refugee crisis, right? Which on flooding into Quebec, which he doesn't address. He pledged $125 million to the reconstruction of the Caribbean infrastructure, $650 million to sexual reproductive health in Haiti. You know, I can go on. He pledged $50 million for Palestinian flood relief, and on and on and on. But guys, this is not a news story. Risa, what are you saying? You have the right in Canada. No, the Charter Bill of Rights was a document that was the moral aspects of Canadian law, but you don't have the right. Not anymore. He enacted the War Powers Act. It's illegal. Whatever he says is illegal. And it's really unfortunate because, again, when they say it's not a news story, you shouldn't look here. That's when a good reporter, a good news agency, and a responsible citizen spends the time to say, wait a minute, that is a news story. You know, they used to say things about CRT. That's not a news story. Oh, it's a news story. You know, your charter doesn't supersede it, Risa. You're wrong. Go get a law degree. Unfortunately, it doesn't. Whatever the prime minister enacts, Justin Trudeau, he just made that completely and utterly law. You are living in a communist country called Canada based off of what he just did. Guys, I would like to remind you, David and I are here to talk about these issues to help you. We're not lawyers. We're not, yes, Risa, he is a king. He kinged himself as the Democrats have anointed themselves as anything that they say must be right. And if you're a Republican, you are not a citizen of the United States. It sounds very much the same that if you don't agree with Justin Trudeau, you are not a citizen of Canada. You are, by proxy, a criminal. I will take your bank account. I will take your money. I will remove you of rights. I will incarcerate you. I will deny you of rights under the War Measures Act, whatever the new title they gave it in Canada. It's the War Measures Act. He wanted to be like his dad. But you know what? His dad wasn't exactly lover of blacks, Jews, right? Exactly. And just like his father, his son, the blackface man, really should just resign in embarrassment. His father's turning over in his ashes. And you know what? Canada, you need to please understand Justin Trudeau is not your friend. He is his friend. He travels in multi-million-dollar private planes at your expense, takes vacations, and is absent when we, the people, want to have a conversation. He denied the essential workers that kept your economy, your shelves, your country going any rights because now you're the enemy. I'll use you for me, but not for thee. Really, if you're in Canada, you know what? You should thank a trucker. You should thank a nurse. You should thank a doctor. And you should vote out your member of parliament because they, in fact, are looking for themselves, not you. Yep. They all went to the United States. They all came to Florida. They all partied it up on their private planes, secret trips, their entrances and exits. And you know what? Eventually, maybe CBC Canada, CTV in Canada might wake up. Risa, I'll give you what Jonathan Redfield. What do you think would happen here? Oh, John, you're right. God bless the Second Amendment. But again, you know, we don't have to be crazy Second Amendment people. I believe in the First Amendment, the Second Amendment, the Fourth Amendment, all the amendments. Because without all of them, you have a dysfunctional country. So again, I would like to bid this quarter hour and this torture that I put you through over. I thank you. I wish you all well. God bless you in whatever country you may be in. And you know what? At the end of the day, you have the power when you can cast a vote. Remember that. Your vote matters. Good night.